Hello, what is going on? What is good, everybody? My name is Ian Walker. I am the owner and creator. Y'all know who I am. Obsidian Games, the Art of D&D Walker. It's me, it's your boy. Coming back with a new video. I know it's been gone. I've been out and gone for a while. You guys know I'm a black person because you just heard the fire alarm just go off. Anyway, so it's all good. I don't even know why I need to say that, but there it is. Anyways, so back here with another video. I just want to do something a little bit different in this video. On the Obsidian Games channel, I do a lot of content related to solo RPGs. What I thought I would do is create a video where I am detailing what is going on in my current solo RPG that I'm doing right now. Now, some of you who were here before were probably watching the Guyver solo RPG I was doing with the Mythic Emulator. It was going cool, but I found I lost interest in it, and it was because I did not do, I say for myself, decent enough prep in order to motivate me to keep going. On top of that, not a lot of people were really interested in keeping it going as far as interest was concerned. So I was like, oh, why do I need to keep this going? Now, I may return to it later. It is in this journal, in my role-playing journal, which is this bad boy you see right here. And I may come back to it at a later time. I may, prepare it and do that. But anyway, what I want to do is, like I said, currently I'm playing a solo RPG, and now that I've been playing every night, it's kind of like my wind down situation. And so far I'm 10 sessions in, and so what I wanted to do in this video was show you guys my role-playing journal and what it looks like. And the reason why I wanted to do this was because I felt like I think it would be neat. It's kind of like for us artists out there, kind of like a sketchbook tour, but instead it's kind of like a solo role-playing journal tour, and showing you where I'm at so far. And I'll go ahead and go through some of that. So if you turn right here, this is from the other campaign that I have. So this is my deal right here. As you see what I did in order to prepare my journal. My main character's name, Dr. Elric Quartermain. This is the drawing that I did. And what I noticed in D&D is that you have gnomes, but ain't no black gnomes out there. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make my gnome a black dude. It's kind of reminiscent of one of those old school, forefathers, like Frederick Douglass mixed with slave type of aesthetic. You know what I'm saying? But a gnome, let me break that. It's my world. I can do what I want. Don't judge me. Anyway, so here it is. Of course, a black gnome in jail, right? Anyway, so this this takes place. This is a sci-fi fantasy game of Rising Legends. There is no full theme or anything with that yet, but I'm just playing the game, and that's something I recommend you guys do if you're going into solo RPG. It's kind of like a more advanced way of doing it, but it's cool because I'm playing as it goes. And in my role-playing game, Rising Legends, I'm doing what's called exploration mode, which is where when I first rolled up Elric, the only thing he has are his species attributes and the regular core major skills and secondary skills. He has no weapons, he has no armor, he has no aptitude skills, none of that stuff. We don't know what he is yet. So to start that, when you see here, he's an amnesiac Gnomey Tinkerer. In the Rising Legends universe, gnomes are called Gnomey. He's a Gnomey tinker who found himself within the confines of the Bastille. The Bastille is a prison planet, an underground prison planet. That is, if you think of the Underdark, which I call in my game in the Rising Legends, is called the Underwilds. The Bastille is a network-wide prison that has been built underneath the planet. The planet is called Ariadne Prime, and the Bastille is the name of the prison underneath, and the Bastille is based in the Underwilds. Nobody knows where it came from. Nobody knows who built it. That's part of the mystery of this place. So he finds himself in the confines of the Bastille. He has no idea who he used to be and works to find a new path while discovering who he is while trying to navigate and eventually leave the Bastille. So this is kind of a prison break sci-fi fantasy story that I've created with Dr. Elric Quartermain. And I just wanted to kind of just show you guys how I go about doing my notes. People do their notes for solo RPG very differently. Some people do bullet points, which is what I do, especially depending on what game I'm playing. But for immersion purposes and how things go in my head, I like to write out the dialogue. So I'll write out, the main prompt of what's going on in the introduction. I'm on exploration mode. Okay, so again, I'm starting out with nothing. This is the date that I started, was the 9th of this month. And so you're probably going to be getting this video way later than that, which is completely fine. But I have a main prompt that I start working with, how I start the game. And then I just go there. Any rolls that I make it in parentheses. I say what kind of roll I'm making and how I'm doing that. And then I have the dialogue here that's written, because I like to go back and read this later. And actually, I've been doing that. And it's kind of like I'm reading a very interactive journal type story. It's a different type of story here. So, and I know that sometimes people think solo RPGs has to be, dialogue heavy and you got to do a lot of writing. You don't have to. I personally like that. And so that's what this is. It's kind of writing heavy. So going through here, a lot of the information that's going on, again, I've written notes. But what I like to add in my stuff is a lot of artwork. Since I am an artist, I'm a freelance artist, comic book creator as well, and a tabletop game designer. So I incorporate all of those elements in my work, and I thought this would be a lot of fun to implement different aspects of the story here in this video. And so I'm just gonna go by. I don't want to keep making this a super long video, but by saying every single thing that's going on. But I'll again, I have the dialogue here. I make pictures of certain things that's going on. One of the things that I have here that I think is really cool and important is when I have an encounter here. And these encounters, as I'm developing the Rising Legends tabletop RPG that I'm creating, these are encounters that I've come up with on the fly during my solo roleplay that I can then use and possibly migrate to be a module or an encounter situation as a part of encounter tables later on in my games. So a lot of things that I do solo, I use a lot of this, playing this game as a part of my development of my tabletop RPG. I know that's a kind of an orthodox way of doing it. At least I've never heard of anybody doing it the way I do. But that's how I do it. And then any information that's here, I have all that information, all of the roles and things like that, and the consequences of that, or the results of that is, and then all the dialogue and again with the story there. So far I am this is session 2. And again, each game that you play is in a solo roleplay session doesn't have to be long at all. My sessions will run from 30 minutes all the way up to 2 hours. It just depends. And at the end of every session, I always like to do a session wrap up, which is where I do a lot of my housekeeping. If I need to level up or if I need a recap of certain things that's happened in that session, I write those things down in here. And I just go through all of that here. Again, more wrap ups. So what I wanted to know, well, so far I've done 10 games of this, and I've been listening to a podcast called The Lone Adventurer that started back, I want to say it's like in 2023, and I like the way how he went about doing his podcast, where he goes in and he has the story aspect of the adventure, and then he goes behind the curtain, that's what he calls it, and he tells the technical details, some of the technical details of how he came to these story beats. And I think I think I want to start doing my solo RPG reports in that format, because it doesn't seem like there's a lot that I have to explain and do, even while I'm playing the game. Now, sometimes I'll do the playing of the game live, and I think I might even save that for live videos. But if that's something you guys think you might be interested in, especially with this particular story, leave a comment below. And I'm heavily considering it, though. I think it might be something that could work for me and be really cool. So here's more stuff here. Now here's where I get really detailed. Again, with some of my world building. Again, when it comes to my world building of my worlds, I use solo roleplay to develop that world building. Instead of trying to, copy ideas or something like that, I kind of just play the game, and whatever situation I land in, I create something that will be that. So this here is like one of the sectors within the Bastille. It's like a shanty town, and I took one of my micron pens here that I take everything down in and draw the setting that they're in. So this is the Bastille. It's an open prison where they create communities, but they don't let them advance too far. They're like shanty towns, and just stacked up on top of each other, all run by the various androids that are keeping all of the prisoners in line. Everybody has commerce. I mean, it's run, all of the parts of the Bastille are run like cities because this is an inescapable prison. As I go into what Ariadne Prime is as a planet, which will be revealed later, you'll understand why this is the way this is. And again, I'll do the rolls, and then I have under here asking my questions that I ask to myself, that I ask the dice. I write down what the result was, and then explain that here. So here's some more pages. One of them had an alien that was involved, and I needed a visual. So this is what came up to what this alien looked like. Looks like something you'll see off of Star Trek, kind of. So that's what I came up with. And so now whenever we see a Herquarian again, you'll know that's at least the females. At least that's kind of what they look like. It gives me an idea of who and what they look like. When I do encounters, these are in pencil, and then I circle it off in pen here. Sometimes I don't need to have a battle mat in front of me or anything like that. If it's a small encounter, I'll just throw that here in the book. I'll just draw what it is. And again, since I'm writing down all the details of the encounter, it's all right here. And I leave that here. This is for me. I understand what this means, but this is a suggestion for you guys in case you guys don't have all that fancy stuff. If you have a gridded battle map or just a journal in general, you could use your book as your battle map as well. And with the dotted grids, or if you have the gridded paper, you can easily do the same thing. You're just drawing it in yourself. And I just need a general area, nothing too crazy. It just gives me markers of where I am on the field, and I'll mark and erase where I need to, move characters, and do that way. Elric used a glyph because he learned how to use a nanoglyph, and so he created a nanoglyph of teleportation, and I just pretty much drew what that would look like and what that glyph specifically does and how it works. And so I want to put that information in here. Again, this is part of my world building, game development, all of that stuff, mostly for me. And so continuing again, we have more stuff. Now this is the picture that I'm most proud of. This is the first time I've drawn something where it's in my head and I was able to put it down. And I used only pen. I used pencil to outline it, but then to do the draft, the rough. But I went in with just regular pencil, and I'm really practicing and learning how to do that OSR style of art. So this is where I'm kind of just teaching myself that style of art, but still making it my own. And this, I'm like so proud of this because I think this looks really, really cool. And so I was really proud. But this is a game event that happened, and that was really cool. So we got some more stuff here, more milestones. At this point, this is a new thing. This is the last session that I just did. This is session 10. I did this session just last night. And this is the Bastille Prison Seeker, which is a machine that I created when I first started developing Rising Legends almost over 20 years ago. That's how long I've been working on this project. And these are one of the creatures, and this is one of the variants of that. These are drones, seeker drones that fly around in the underworlds looking for escaped prisoners and trying to bring them back into the prisons. and stuff like that. Here again is another battle map that I did. Again, not very detailed, but these circles, I know what they are, what they mean. I kind of wrote the encounter name, what happened, how long it took me to get taken out. They got rocked this last session, so pretty much all the progress they made got undone as they ended up getting brought back to where they started from. And that's the thing when you have exploration mode, which is like the hard mode of my RPG, this RPG, and stuff like that. So things like that can happen. And then here's the rest of the notes here, and then a post-session wrap-up here. And at this point now, Elric is level 4, and that's where we're at. So that is the quick overview of my book. If you guys have any questions about how I did everything here, or you guys want to know, or have any questions about how I do my solo roleplay, what that entails, what my thought process is, leave a comment below. I'll be more than happy to answer any of your guys' questions that you have. What I want to do in the future, too, is I want to start getting the word out about Rising Legends. And so what I'm going to start doing is every week start streaming live as I'm developing not just Rising Legends, but all of my games that I'm doing, that I'm creating on on my Obsidian Games channel here. So if you guys are into that, or there's certain things you want to see, if there's certain live plays that you want to see me do, anything like that, please leave a comment below, like the video, share it with other people, and get them in on the conversation as well. I'm trying to do a little bit different, solo tabletop RPG content. So more of on the development side and on how I personally do it, and giving ideas as to how, because solo tabletop RPGs is starting to become pretty popular now. And there's a lot of information out there about it. I still think that because people do it so many different ways of doing it, that it's still unique. So I would really like you guys' your input on everything and what you guys want to know, and things like that. But you're definitely going to see me doing a lot of content, live content of me developing Rising Legends. I'm at a point now where I feel that I can develop that stuff personally now, and do that live. So I'm going to be doing that, and explaining my system to you, how that works, and how it is. Again, this is a role-playing game that is made solo first, but definitely has a group adaptive setting for it as well. So, you could play this in any way. Oh, I almost forgot. This is the sidekick card for the secondary character, my sidekick Bayul, who's the big elephant guy. So this is Bayul's sidekick card that is on the side, and then this is Elric's character sheet. This is the character sheet that I designed for my role-playing game, Rising Legends. So that's it there. If you go back to past videos, you'll see that you may have seen this before. I'm debating as to whether or not I need to do a redesign of this, but I'm holding off on that to the last moment. Only because right now it's functional enough. It can be used. And those of you who may want to try the RPG for yourself, it's definitely usable. So I'm not trying to muddy all the waters as far as my progress is concerned. So I'm going to keep it like this for now. But anyways, guys, that's all I have to say for this week, or this video. Again, any questions, comments, concerns you have, please leave them in the comment below. Just remember, keep it respectful, keep it kind. And if you would like any questions or have any questions, just leave them below. And share, comment, subscribe, all that fun jazz. Anyways, guys, you guys have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you guys later. Deuces.